Hi, this is Hayley Griffiths, and you're listening to Phil Wilson's Vinyl Revival, Britain's most listened to vinyl record radio show.
This is Phil Wilson.
We're right back here on Radio Shields with Phil Wilson in the morning with my special guest, Hayley Griffiths, who's about to embark on a UK and European tour with her tour called Metamorphosis for 2023. But let's get back to the music now, and as I mentioned in my introduction, Hayley, you are releasing 2 albums. Your folk album, Far From Here, and the Hayley Griffiths Band, Melanie. What are your favourite songs from the albums, and are there any that are special to you?
So from Far From Here, I'd probably say the title track. Now with Far From Here, this is, as we mentioned, a Celtic album, and it's got 11 tracks, 10 of which are reimagined Celtic favourites, songs that people will know and love, your Scarborough Fair, your Skyboat song, your Loch Lomond, the 11th song is an original song, which is the title track, Far From Here. And this has been very generously given to me by the producer of the album called Mike Stobby. Mike is the founding member of the progressive band Palace, and he's works with Angela Weber and Cameron McIntosh, and is an amazing arranger and orchestrator. And he's got this most beautiful song, and I think it fits really well in the album, despite being the only original track. And I've even gone and made a music video for it, which you can find on YouTube. So I think from that album, that's really a standout for me because it's an original. I think my other favourites on Far From Here would be Star of the County Down. It's probably the most upbeat and fun. It's really lively. It's got great energy to it. And I also particularly love Scarborough Fair. I think they would be my 3 choices from Far From Here, if you were to check that out. Melanie. Now, Melanie's different because I wrote every single song. So I guess it's a bit like saying, pick between your babies. But the title track, again, which is probably why I made it the title track, is my absolute standout track. It's probably the track I'm most proud of in my entire career, to be honest. I think it's bold, it's hard-hitting, it's very out there and in your face, it's quite cheeky. The song is about alter ego, and it's quite personal to me in that we've taken this alter ego idea and embellished it and made it much bigger, and she's quite a naughty alter ego. But I took an idea of something that was a tool that I used to use to help me overcome stage anxiety, which was to build this character in my head to go on stage as. So it wasn't Hayley going on stage, it was an alter ego to give me more confidence to go on stage. And she ended up getting named accidentally by a fan in Poland when I was doing a festival out there. A fan mistakenly called me Melanie, and that kind of became our little inside joke as such. And she got named. And I actually last week kind of put out a big shout out on social media to try and find this man that inspired my whole album, and we found him, which is really cool. So Melanie's got a nice personal feeling for me. Little Star, my other half started writing when I was in labour with my first child. So that's super personal, and it's it's kind of a song to our child coming into the world. I think another favourite for me would be Broken Lullaby, which is the opening number of the song. This song almost surprised me in its development because when I initially wrote it, with a radio presenter called Jack Pepper, an amazing young composer. And we wrote it just as a very simple piano ballad. And now if you were to hear it, we've literally turned it into probably the heaviest rock track on the album. It always amazes me the progression that you can do with arrangements and writing songs. And I would probably say Last Goodbye would be my other choice. It's a song, it's the first song we started writing on as a band for the album, and it was also a kind of a development from another idea by a friend of mine, Kevin Hall. I kind of did a real working of one of his jazz ballads and took like just his verse and then developed it into a whole completely different song. And it was a very different way of writing. And I've never done it before and probably won't do it since. And so that's probably quite special to me, again, in just how in the writing development.
Do you have any plans for the future that you can tell us about?
This year is going to keep us pretty busy with touring in the spring and back again in October. But I do hope that we will be doing some writing in the background. I'll also be guesting in a band called Zio, and you can catch us on tour as well later in the year. It's going to be, I think this 2023 is very much going to be our touring year, and then next year probably a little bit more concentrated back in the studio, and then see where the world takes us.
Well, thank you, Hayley, for joining me in the studio this morning, and hopefully I'll catch up with you later in the year and you can tell me how the stage show is going. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Please come along to one of the shows. Thank you again so much for having me.
Just before you go, would you like to introduce your latest single from the album of the week this hour?
This next song is the title track to my brand new Celtic album of the same name. This is Far From Here. Hi, this is Hayley Griffiths, and you're listening to Phil Wilson in the Morning on Radio Shield.